All right, everyone, we will go ahead and get started. First of all, thank you so much for joining today's masterclass. What we're going to be talking about is zipForms and DigiSign and how the two of those work together, and you can utilize those within your SkySlope account. So currently I'm logged in just as an agent profile. So if we have any admin on the line, this is going to be the exact same for you. zipForms does live within this working documents area. So as soon as you log in, if it's the first time, you'll see that pop-up window entering in your zipForm credentials. So your username and password, and then you can access it here within working documents. Now, once we're in this section, there's the tab for zipForms Plus. And just a quick tour of this section, we can see the green option here to create zipForm transactions. So as soon as we have that set of credentials entered into SkySlope, we can create our zipForm transactions right within the SkySlope platform, enter in that basic amount of data, maybe show some additional fields. But once we create that transaction, we have our transactions listed right on the left-hand side here. So all of our different options, the forms within those transactions. Keep in mind, I did not just create a transaction. So everything existing within my zipForms account or that I create within zipForms is now accessible within SkySlope. Anything I create within SkySlope is also accessible within zipForms. So right here, if I have my document names, you can see I can click on that title, open up the zipForm document, add additional information, just some sample data, maybe save it. I can open zipForms right here. So let's say I like the view of my zipForms Plus account. I can hop right in here with that Open in zipForms option. See the exact same transaction here. So again, let's say we add a document within zipForms, and you add that here. Let's say all forms. Maybe we'll add a counteroffer. If we come back here into SkySlope, just refresh our page, we now have two documents here within SkySlope in that transaction. So right here at the bottom, the counteroffer and the addendum to buy-sell agreement. If I wanted to send this document out, let's say I have that additional information on the addendum agreement, select the document, I can access DigiSign right here. You can also assign these documents to your property files if you have one created, or maybe add an additional form here from the zipForm library. But rather than assigning it to my property file, if I click DigiSign, so let's say I have my information filled out, I click DigiSign, the first thing it's going to ask me is if I have a property file already created. So select a property to return the signed documents automatically. That way I take out that step of assigning it to the file and sending it out from there. So I can search for my address. If you don't have one, you can always opt for this no property option. The document goes right back to your personal document section in that case. Let's just select this top one here, 333 J Street. Again, I already selected the document that was in that zipForm section. However, I can also add documents that are already existing within the Documents tab of that file. So if I wanted to add other things, I could. We'll stick to just this addendum. Now here on the right-hand side, I can also choose a template. Now templates are something we definitely recommend using within SkySlope and DigiSign. It saves the placement of all of your signatures and initials on the documents that you are frequently sending out. We'll opt to just place those fields automatically. So click Next. We can see some contacts have pulled here from my file, myself. Maybe let's add a seller here. Save that in there. I can add a new recipient if I need to. Let's say I have an agent on the other side who needs this document, or maybe an assistant that wants to help me out. But here on the right-hand side, we can set up a signing order. So let's say I have, Reese here on the DigiSign document with me, but I can add a signer group and just drag myself to the Who Signed Second section. That would allow Reese to sign first and myself to sign second, maybe just to do a final check prior to turning that into my file reviewer. We'll leave us both up top as who signs first. You can also add someone to receive just the fully executed copy. Next is going to bring us right into the document. So again, we can see that this buy-sell agreement is the one that we pulled from zipForms. My document has all the information already populated, that additional information we added. Now it's time to add my signatures, initials, date signed, so on and so forth. Right here at the bottom, we have the buyer and seller sections. I select signature. I can single click, drop that field in place, drag it around if I need to, maybe resize it. And then the drop down allows me to select who is signing in what section. So we'll have re-sign here. Just for the sample, I'll put myself here as the seller side. Select date. I can single click that date. It pops it in place. Same thing over here on the left-hand side. Scroll up and then send the document. Now my subject is automatically that property address. Keep in mind you can change this if you want to. Write a message. Let's just say please sign and then send. Now we've sent that document to the client. DigiSign also recognizes that we are a party on this document, so we can go ahead and sign it right away. So sign now. We can select which signature style we want to go with, and then agree since it is a legally binding representation of our signature. We can scroll down, check all the information if we need to, but start is going to automatically scroll the document and pause anywhere that we need to take an action. Now to place my signature, single click, and then I've completed signing. Once I submit, it takes me right into the DigiSign section, so we can see all of our completed files here. The Send tab will show that agreement we just sent. I've signed it. We're still waiting on the client to sign. There's a couple tools available to you as well, like creating a template of this document, editing or resending, the complete history of the signing process, or just completely voiding the document out. So again, there was a handful of options there that we could have done directly from our zipForms account. Now, once that document is fully signed by the client as well, it is going to go straight back to the Documents tab of my file, so that 333 J Street. It's also going to come to me in an email. When I go into this Working Documents section, if I click to No Property, keep in mind the document goes right back to Personal Documents. Now we've gone through those steps pretty quickly, so if you have questions, please chat those over in the question window in SkySlope, or in GoToWebinar, pardon me. Looks like we have a couple minutes here, so I'll answer some final questions. We have a question, are the templates that we've created in zipForms seen or usable here? That's a great question. So Cheryl, based on your question that you sent over, you can utilize the zipForms templates. However, there's a different way that you would do that within SkySlope. So if we come to the zipForm section, create our zipForm Plus transaction. Let's just say this is a testing. Enter in my address. So I'm creating the zipForm transaction. We can add in some additional information if we want. Let's say this is Sally Seller. Create. Now it gives us the option to select any form within our zipForm library. So keep in mind this is not the templates. So what you would want to do is cancel out of this option and then open in zipForms. You're going to have to apply the template within zipForms rather than it automatically being imported. Looks like the zipForm account's going a little slow, so bear with me here. Awesome. So we're in here. We have our zipForm file. Right over on the right-hand side, we have the option to apply a template. So similar to how you apply the template in zipForms right now, it just gives you the option to create within SkySlope and apply that template here within zipForms. Let's say this is a listing and apply. That would bring all those documents from the template right into my zipForm account. Once I come back here into SkySlope and I refresh, all those forms are right here within the system. So everything from the template. I can select the document, add in all my information. Keep in mind, if you're not doing this already, you can always add information to your cover sheet. That'll auto-populate your forms and pull some of the information into your SkySlope file as well. So a couple other questions. Can this be done with DigiSign? So you can absolutely create your zipForm transactions within your zipForm account and send them out as normal with DigiSign. However, DigiSign is our proprietary digital signature tool. We don't have an integration within SkySlope for DigiSign. So once those forms are fully executed, you just want to add those into your SkySlope property file. So we have another question here that there's some trouble seeing what fields, writable fields, and the signer's seeing. Go ahead and send that to our support team. They are 24/7 accessible right here in the upper right-hand corner. They'll be able to see exactly what you're seeing, go into your DigiSign account, pull up that document, and kind of walk through it with you. Another question, how would you auto-populate the signature boxes so you don't have to place them? That's a great question. You're going to do that with the template that we would apply. So let's say I come into that file, select the document, and click DigiSign. We'll just quickly walk through this step to show you. Select a property. And right when I have the option to select the actual document, on the right-hand side gives me that Choose Template option. So choose Template, select the one that matches the document I'm sending, and apply. Once you apply that template and get into zipForms, or when you get into DigiSign, pardon me, all those fields would be automatically placed on the document. As an admin, can I have access to multiple zipForms accounts? If you have that, admin or broker level zipForm account, where if you log into zipForms, you see everyone's files there, the credentials that you enter into SkySlope will give you the exact same field. So if you have credentials to SkySlope or to zipForms, any transaction you see there, you would see within your SkySlope account. There's another question, how do you refresh SkySlope? I would do this just with your browser. So I'm using Google Chrome right now, and I just have this arrow here to refresh the page. So we have another question. Once a template is created and applied, can you remove a doc while you're working on it? So you can't remove the document within DigiSign when you're actually placing the fields. You would have to go back to that second question where it asks you to select the document and unselect it. So there's another question here. Can you demonstrate how to create a SkySlope listing or transaction from a zipForm file? So what I'll do is I'll create a transaction here. So if I click Create Transaction and search for this address, 2111, and I'm selecting a address that I have already existing here. But it's going to give me a couple different options. I have my SkySlope option that shows, MLS options pulled from our data source, Google Maps, and then zipForms here. So if you're creating the transaction, you can select the address if you already have an existing zipForm transaction within your account. So I already have 2111 Pyramid Court created. When I select it, it imports 8 fields from that zipForm file. So my contacts, as well as the other information I've entered into my zipForms cover sheet. All right, so there's a handful of other questions that we're unable to get to right now. Go ahead and direct those to our support team. If you have any questions, absolutely reach out to them. Right here in the upper right-hand corner, click support. Takes you to that 24/7 support hub where you can select the big blue button, enter your question, and then we always recommend chatting with them, but they'll be able to answer all of your questions. Everyone have a wonderful morning or afternoon, depending on where you are, and happy sky sloping.